Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Town of Pownell Select Board Meeting, August 27th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Board member roll call.
Julie Weber, Jeannie Alexander.
Mike Gardner.
Carl Strohmeyer, Andy Curry.
Can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of the agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
Snow removal conversation about the snow. And Joel is still here, like after the highway.
After the highway?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he can still be.
I would also say Alyssa mailed supposed to keep it on. Item 12, future land use map update discussion. I asked for that to be included on the agenda and I've done some research and I feel satisfied. So we just want to let people know when the deadline is for comment. I don't see no need for that now.
Okay. Any other changes? Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the changes.
I'll move to approve the agenda with changes.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Public comment. Owen, would you come up to the table and just state your name, please?
Speaking of tonight, in regards to the tax bills, things all stronger. So in regard to your tax bills, I've heard a lot of conversation and different things from the public. Some second hearings and first hearings. So I'm just going to do a brief quick comment. So in regards to your tax bills, if you're a taxpayer and have questions on the bill, please call the number listed on the top of the bill. I will do the best I can answer your question. If I can't answer it and it has to do with assessment, I will get someone else that can help you. The informational sheet that was included in your with your tax bill, everybody should have received one. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody's. It was a courtesy letter. That's all, just a courtesy letter with information on the changes the post office had done over a year ago. It's just to ensure that you know not to just drop your tax bill in a outside or anywhere or in your own personal mailbox on November 10th and think it's going to be postmarked November 10th. It will not be. They pick them up, the carriers, even outside mailboxes at the post office. They cart them away. It takes 2 to 3 days sometimes to get them postmarked. You will be delinquent. It's happened before. I'm trying to make that not happen so that people do not get penalized thinking that they paid their taxes on time. So that part of the informational letter is just courtesy. I also have spoken to 2 separate postmasters, one in Pownell, one in Bennington, to verify that that is really what happens. I found it on the web, and that is what happens. They pick it up, they take it away. It gets run through a machine a day or 2 later when it gets there. It does not get postmarked the day you drop it. If you need it postmarked, walk it into the post office, ask the postmaster to please put the November 10th or the November 9th date on it. They will stamp it. It will be sent away. I will receive the envelope with 2 postmarks on it. And I will take the one from the post office that you asked them to do. I will take the soonest postmark so that you will not be delinquent. The letter also contains my hours for collection that I am actually here. We have a drop box outside if you can't make those hours. Anything dropped in that drop box at 5 o'clock on November 10th. After 5 o'clock, I will be checking it at 5. Anything after 5 will be delinquent. Anything paid online will be delinquent after 5 p.m. because the emails are time stamped. And just one other thing, be advised, the tax rate, if you don't understand how the tax rate is set, come in and ask us. Don't guess, don't blame the treasurer, don't blame the select board. The tax rate is set by the select board and receives documentation from the treasurer. These numbers are taken from your March voting. They're your budget numbers, amount to be raised by taxes. Same with the school budget, and the state sets those rates. So know that we just don't pick whatever rate we want out, we are taxpayers also. So when you do come in to ask about your tax bill, be kind to everyone that you speak to, because sometimes I'm not here and others try to answer your questions. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you so much for letting me.
Thanks, Helen.
Thank you.
Thanks for the clarification on some of the issues that have been a little bit of a problem the last couple of years.
State.
Yeah, and it's marked. It's clearly marked where the drop box is here at the town office.
Yes, it's in, when you come in, there's a sign that says, you're right, and then it's also labeled over.
Do we have any other public comment?
Okay, Rich. 2 weeks ago, I sat here at the meeting,
Would you just state your name?
Judy Stone,
Thank you.
on Valley View Drive, which is west side of the river.
Yep.
And 2 weeks ago, I was told this, with everyone sitting here, that would be in place for my oil company or other oil companies to go over. Nothing's been done yet. I'm still meeting people in the middle of the bridge and it says one lane. I'm kind of disgusted because I'm wondering if I was a board member and I needed my road, graded or raked for a special event or or trenches dug up on Montgomery Road. I mean, I understand that, but they can wait, and I understand his barrels on order. My question is, why couldn't they go get the barrels, bring them down instead of waiting for somebody to, deliver them? And it's getting I'm really discouraged because my oil company, KCM, is waiting for me to say, yeah, have somebody here call and say, you can come deliver. Because I'm really under a quarter of the tank, and I'm not very happy about this, because now, since the bridge has been closed, it's gone up 80 cents more, so I'm paying instead of 4.25, now I'm paying 505, and I don't think that's fair to me, or anyone else on that side. You know what I'm saying? If one of you guys would go there, would it be different? That's what I'm wondering. You guys have been procrastinating on this since April, it's disgusting. And I don't know, I'm sure other people in my neighborhood feel the same way, they don't know what they're doing. They go, we don't know how we're gonna get oil, some of us, West Oil goes over it, Green's Oil goes over it. ACN, Kevin Green, is it? Mike Green is the only one, his wife said he's the only one apparently abiding by the rule or the request, but no one else is. I've seen dump truck last night come over it, I'm thinking, what am I missing? I don't understand, school bus probably went over it today. Okay, so nobody's reading the signs. It's supposed to be a three-way stop sign, right? Is that what I heard 2 weeks ago? One on each corner. That hasn't been done. I think I would get something in place, but nobody's reading it because I sat there last night trying to get back to my house, which I live up there over the river. 3 cars come down, they just kept coming, never even stopped. So the stop sign doesn't even. I mean, if there was somebody sitting there, ticketing people, they'd make a lot of money. I just, I don't know. I don't know if we had barrels yet, or we couldn't have got them, it hadn't been in place this week, I mean, that was 2 weeks ago, so I feel like that was just said to appease us. And I felt like I got lied to. Because Joel sat right there and said, we'll have it in place in 2 weeks, and he said that, and I think everyone heard that. And now it's not in place, so here we are.
Well, I think I don't want to interrupt you and stop you.
I'm good with it, but I mean, something's gotta be done, you just keep, telling people it's gonna be done in 2 weeks, and it's not. Now it's gonna be another 2 weeks maybe, or another month, I mean, what gives, are you gonna call Mike Green around and tell him, go ahead and fill Judy's tank Tuesday? Because you told Tara last week, she couldn't do it until after everything was in place, I remember that, see?
Oh, it's
So I don't know, I mean, I don't know what you guys wanna do. You wanna deliver oil to me, I'll get 5 gallon buckets, bring it up and something in my tank, I don't care.
But I agree, Judy. So what I will say is that 2 Fridays ago, after the meeting that we were here and we said 2 weeks, that we ordered the barricades, barrels, whatever. We ordered those that Friday morning.
So where did they come from?
Joel, I don't know that, Judy. That's,
I mean, isn't that something that your guy picked up? I mean, sense, I would think that way, get it done and over with. Instead of waiting for somebody to drag your feet, bringing them down to you. You know,
well, I don't, that's a question for Joel, I guess, where they're coming from. I don't know that we don't micromanage, so to speak, the road crew as far as that goes, or any of our departments, whether it's road, wastewater, or transfer station. So I don't know where they're coming from. I know that, several conversations that I've had with Joel over the course of the last. Obviously, we didn't talk about it the first 3 or 4 days of after they were ordered, but we've had that conversation several times. We've had it several times this week.
so my question is, are they here?
No.
When are they coming?
We can have, they told me that Friday before.
They said a week and a half or a week and a half more now?
No,
A week and a half from the initial order.
yeah.
When they come?
The expenses to get them locally.
Yeah, but couldn't you borrow something, somebody, like somebody through the state, that's what I'm wondering, not, then you're purchasing these,
What's that?
are you purchasing these?
Yes, yes.
So the thing about it is, Judy, there's a little bit more than, and I'm gonna take some time and explain this because I understand your frustration. I also believe that I think you're absolutely correct. There's more people that are frustrated than just you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what do you mean, can he come over next week?
So
Yeah.
I don't know about Mike and KCM.
I talked to her the other day, she says she's waiting for somebody from the town to call and say it's okay.
I had a conversation personally. I was on a job site. Mike was doing some furnace repair, on the same job site. So and I apologize. I don't know exactly what day it was, Judy, but it was after our meeting here.
Okay, I saw his wife 2 days ago.
Yep. So, I don't think it was it must have been early last week, actually, when I talked to Mike. But, so part of the reason that borrowing barrels or, buying them locally, I don't, that's something, like I said, we don't micromanage that. Borrowing barrels in this instance would not be a wise move because we have to modify. Let me rephrase that. We feel that we have to modify the barrels to be vandal proof. Exactly. So that's why just going to Bennington or Shasberry or somebody else to borrow, or even the state for that matter, to borrow barrels to put there, we have to modify the barrels, and Joel has an idea how to modify the barrels so that they become a permanent thing that are gonna last and not be thrown in the river. So that's kind of why we didn't go borrow anything.
So he spent money getting barrels, so it's that pricey. How many barrels? Yes,
I got 15.
So, that's why we didn't just go borrow barrels to put there. Judy,
isn't that something like you spend money, I guess you have fun, you take it out.
mhm. Mhm. Joel has
It's
he
in the
has,
budget.
Expensive.
there's a line. They come, he has a line that they come out of. So somehow. You know, Joel's got an idea what he's gonna do to make them so they're not in the river floating to Hoosick Falls
I
or.
was thinking that too today.
I mean, we're waiting for the barrels. As soon as we get the barrels, but according to what, and Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, there's not, if there's one vehicle on there, if Mike's truck is the only vehicle on the bridge, it's not a posted bridge.
Just right now,
So,
since the weight, it's no money.
And would it help if
They
you
sign off.
told them that, and I can take a DMV posting, I mean, or I could leave that, but tell them that, so they'll
One
never.
lane.
if you, before you leave tonight, I know that Mike and Casey have my cell phone number.
Well, I got his phone number, call there.
I can call them too. Yeah,
Please call her.
I'll call Mike. I can call Mike tomorrow.
Delivery Tuesday,
What's that?
and it's delivery Tuesday.
I will call Mike.
They're down here Tuesday, so,
I will call Mike tomorrow.
okay, but I will tell her to put me on a schedule for Tuesday, better not forget.
You better take my phone number and text me or reminder. Yeah, but you better take my phone number and text me a reminder or something, Judy, and that's fine. And I'm fine with that, okay? But Julie, everyone here will tell you, it's like, you better text me or whatever, but.
I'll give her your phone number.
They got your number too up there? Probably.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I will tell her to give you a call.
Have Casey. You can give them a message to call me if you want to. And that might be the best thing if they do call me, to be honest with
You
you.
know your number.
I'll give it to you. I don't wanna do it over the. Live. I don't wanna do it live, but I'll wait. Yeah.
We'll give it to you, girl. Yes, I don't know.
Ellen will give it to you. She don't care who she gives. So honestly, Judy, that's where we're at, and I totally understand your frustration. I really do. I know.
You spend 80 cents more on a dollar, you know, for oil now, I'm like.
Yes. Have Casey call me, or the other girl in the office is super sweet too, so. Well, there's another one in the office too, right, besides his wife?
Gary.
Yeah, but anyways. We certainly can work on that, and I'll work on that tomorrow. Are you good? Okay.
Thank you. Now, what's in Friday, I'm gonna beat you up. So.
No, you're fine, Judy. This has been, yeah, and this has been a long thing, and I mean. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Yeah. Thanks, Judy. Is there any other public comment, Hannah? Okay. Discussion with Lisa from Cat TV.
Thanks for having me tonight. My name is Lisa Byer. I'm executive director of Cat TV. For those of you. We got too much of your time. I know you have a busy meeting today. So appreciate the opportunity to be here to discuss Cat TV and our role in covering these meetings. I was unfortunately not able to be here at the July 9th meeting, as Tara knows I was on a scheduled vacation, so I wasn't able to be there. But I thought it was a good idea to kind of speak to you guys. I understand obviously that the board decided not to renew the agreement. Disappointed, I'm not here to argue that point. I respect the board's decision-making process. And I just wanted to make that clear. We take our relationships with the municipal partners very seriously. And we respect the boards that we work with and the important work that you guys do. We've always seen these partnerships as an opportunity to work together, keep residents informed, and keep the communities engaged, and provide access to local government. So as I said, I do think it's important that we share our perspective and make sure that everybody understands what we do, why we do it, how we do it, and have some opportunity to ask questions if you have any questions. So I couldn't hear the frame face, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that. So I tried to prepare statements based on some conversation I heard from the board, so hopefully I'll answer a lot of questions, but if I don't, please let me know. Obviously, I understand that cost was a concern of the board, which is understandable given their tight budgets. So I just wanted to discuss the rate increase. We did give the town 1 year notice of the rate increase. Our rates have not increased since 2019. That rate was $50 an hour, and it remained $50 an hour for 8 years. This year it's $75 an hour, which is competitive for the professional rate of live streaming and production. We were asked to negotiate that rate in early July, perhaps. And I wasn't able to do that because of our partnerships with the other municipalities. I didn't feel it was appropriate to have a lower rate for one municipality while others were paying a different rate. So I would imagine that you guys would agree with that. But I did offer to concede on the processing fee, which had changed this year. So again, I felt as though 1 year notice was important for you guys to prepare your budget and asking questions and budget appropriately. So Cat TV's been around since 1991. For 28 years, we offered meeting at our own cost. So we covered every school board and select board meeting in the towns that we serve at our own cost. In 2019, we realized our funding model was changing, technology was changing, regulations weren't changing, people were cutting cable, which is what funds us, and we really needed to think about our long-term sustainability. So we made the decision to contract with the municipalities in our town, school boards, in order to recover some of the actual costs that it takes us to cover these meetings. We cover more than 200 meetings a year, just to give some perspective. So I wanted to say it's not about us making money off of municipal meetings, it's about covering the cost. And we have a very strong commitment to our mission and to our communities, but we also have to run our business and stay fiscally safe. So what our fee actually covers is staff time, live production, equipment, multiple live streaming on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Comcast Channel 1085, our Cat TV website, and our mobile app. As well as processing the meetings afterwards and organizing and maintaining dedicated archive playlists. So I understand that it may seem as though we're just pushing a button, but there's a lot behind that button. There's people, there's equipment, there's technology, training, preparation, and distribution. And more importantly, there's connectivity to the residents of town. I also understand that there was some concern that Cat TV isn't here in the room. So I just wanted to give a quick history on that. We moved to remote coverage, obviously during COVID, during the time where we helped all of the town and school boards learn how to do virtual meetings. That was all new to everybody, but we had the technology and know how to do it. So that's something that we really supported our boards with. When in-person coverage became possible again, the panel requested that we continue to stay virtual. And part of that was out of cost concerns. So we accommodated that request, and that's why we are continue to be virtual. But just because we're virtual doesn't mean that there isn't production happening. We're still providing the live production, monitoring, distribution, post-production, and archiving. So I just want to say I feel as though it's more than just a live stream. Cat TV has 35 years of building trust in the communities that we serve. And community members know that what they see on Cat TV is verified, authentic, and trusted. And they know where to find us. This is what we do. They know that if they tune into Cat TV, they're gonna see meetings. We provide gavel-to-gavel coverage, dedicated archives, and convenient access to government meetings. So we're not just simply providing a live stream and pushing a button. We're creating a public record and accessibility to the history of local government. And to be honest with you, those ideas stem from World War II, which I just learned in research recently after listening to an interview with a colleague where they really learned the lessons of the power of media and how important who controls the media is. And that was really the foundation of why public access was created in the United States. And those are the principles that Cat TV is built on. So why is it important to have a third party in this process? We're independent of the town. That separation provides neutrality, transparency, accountability, and public trust. We provide an unedited, unbiased, gavel-to-gavel coverage of the meeting, regardless of who's sitting on the select board or working for the town. We take responsibility. Reporting it, distributing it, maintaining it, and making it accessible. If something goes wrong, if a file is accidentally deleted or is corrupt in some way, there's a technical problem, or it's not on Facebook or YouTube, that's our problem. You take responsibility for that. The town isn't responsible for that. So that independence between those two things really can protect the board, because the board can point to an outside organization that takes responsibility for those things. And that's one of the things that we've done for 35 years. I've referred to it as an insurance policy for the select. So, boards and technology change, we've remained constant for all of these years. I think another question that has come up is, we already reported, why do we need Cat TV? And I think it isn't necessarily about the meeting being recorded, it's about the broader distribution of that meeting and making that access to that information more accessible to people. So I've been in Cat TV for 30 years, 30 of those 35 years. And I know that in my time, I've learned that elected boards change. And Cat TV has always been that constant. What a board thinks today may not be what a board thinks next year or 10 years down the line. And I've accumulated enough years to know that can be true. We've been doing meetings for more than 30 years. I don't know exactly the year that we started in town. But all of the things that change, I think that the thing that doesn't change is people want to know what's happening in their community and with their local government. Another concern that I heard was that not enough people watch on our platforms. And I think there's a distinction between audience size and public access to information. So some people certainly still watch on traditional cable. And we cannot tell you how many people watch because Comcast is never going to give us those kind of demographic numbers. But we do know that people are still watching on cable, and we know that that is remains an important access point to information for a lot of people that don't have computers, access to the internet, or choose not to. I can tell you over the last 8 months, on YouTube, we saw an average of 54 viewers per month, per meeting, on our YouTube channel. And of the highest, it was interesting, was 238 viewers for the annual town meeting. So we have a lot of eyes on that. On Facebook, unfortunately, they changed their platform, so they no longer archive live meetings past 30 days. So there's no way to look at that information past 1 month. But I can tell you that we were able to look at the analytics and approximately 1,300 views on our Facebook page on the days that there was a live panel select board meeting. Now, I can't tell you that every single one of those people was watching the panel select board meeting, but I can tell you that there were 1,300 eyes on Cat TV's Facebook page on any given Thursday that it was a panel. On the app and website, it's an average of about 10 per meeting. We saw as high as 40 per, and most of them are probably around 20, 25. So what do those numbers really mean? I understand that they're not television-sized audiences. We're not talking about network, numbers here, but they're real people engaging with their local community. And I don't think it's just about how many people are watching. I think it matters that the meeting is covered, that the government is accessible and transparent, and that residents can find the information. So if only 10 people were watching, those 10 people still deserve access to their government. So I mentioned a little bit ago that our funding began to change in 2019. I just want to quickly put a point on that. So the cable companies use the public rights of way to get their product to people's homes. They have to pay a fee in exchange for the use of that public way. They charge their cable subscribers a fee, and that fee comes to Cat TV for the public benefit for the community. People are dropping cable and they're going to streaming on the internet. The internet does not have that same established regulation. There is no public benefit, even though they're using the same infrastructure and the same rights of way. So that's a federal issue that is not going to be resolved here tonight. But that's the big issue problem, is that there's no longer a funding mechanism for the public good that is intended. So in closing, again, I respect the board's decision, and I'm not here to argue it. I just wanted the opportunity to explain our perspective and what goes into our service and why we think it's valuable, and allow you guys to ask any questions. But I believe after 30 years that municipal meeting coverage, even in this day of technology, still matters, because I think that transparency matters and access to government matters. So I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for this?
I have a few questions, actually. Do you know on average, the past couple of years, how many panel meetings you cover? And I know we did have that information, but it's just not in front of me right now.
Yeah. Sorry. We covered two. I didn't do the math. 12, about 30. I would say between 25 and 30 per year.
Okay. Just one or two more. Has Cat TV been contacted, to your knowledge, by any Pownell residents with concerns about Cat TV no longer covering the select board meetings?
To buy one, yes.
Okay. And I mean, just for my edification, I'm just trying to understand, because I agree with you. I think public access is incredibly important. Like, I think we have to have that through some means. And so I definitely support that. But I guess I'm trying to figure out is, because I've tried to think through this and you're more knowledgeable about this than I am. Can you think of an instance where someone may have access to our meeting through Cat TV, whereas they may not have access to the means that we're currently providing them?
Cable tel. Cat TV channel 1085. So that is a door that has been closed.
Okay.
The other part of it is just broader distribution and the fact that people know to go to us because we've been doing it for 35 years. So I think that it gets much wider distribution and noise because of the platforms.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the work you do.
Any other questions, Jean? I had a couple of quick questions, actually, Lisa. So you, and I want to make sure I have this down correctly. We have 54, it looks like we had an average meeting had 54
On YouTube,
on YouTube
per meeting,
correct? Okay.
on our YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah, you're right, that's what we're talking about. And the town meeting had 230, 238 or something like. Yeah, I have 230 plus, I couldn't remember the exact number, but. And I mean, that's close, like, we don't have to have the exact,
Yeah, 238,
that's what I thought, okay.
which of course, everybody's tuning into that, but I thought that was a great number. I was really excited when I saw that.
No, me too, and so that's helping me as the sitting chair and have been for a while, helping me to understand one reason that we don't have as much in-person participation at a town meeting that we used to have, right? When I was younger in the fire department fighting for money,
This,
you know?
it'd be crowded in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that helps me a little bit. And the 54 YouTube users on a meeting night
Mhm.
is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's significant leadership.
And then,
Unfortunately, I wish I could look at the Facebook numbers, because my guess those might have been higher. I only had,
you had a 1,300 that was on a Facebook app.
that's on how many views there were of our Facebook page on a day that there was a live town meeting.
Okay.
But I do believe that we had, the last meeting that, I could look at, I believe that there were 81 views, on the Facebook page.
Okay.
Whether that's average or higher or lower.
I understand. Do you have an idea, and you probably don't. So when we have 1,300 views or whatever on a meeting night, like for instance, say tonight, right? Do you have the number of on a Thursday night without a meeting?
Look at those.
I'm just.
I didn't. But
It'd just be interesting for me to say, so what?
there's a site.
Right, the way I would look at it is if there's 800 views or uses on a night when we don't have a meeting and there's 1,300, and I'm really being hypothetical here.
I understand the audience numbers are important in the decision-making process, but my purist view of doing this for 30 years is if 10 people watch, those are 10 people that had access. And
Well-
that's important.
Well, that's,
So I hate to the audience.
well, I'm looking at it from, I think, so I want to be clear, I'm looking at it from the same standpoint that you are. Okay, so if we have 54 YouTube users, Cat TV YouTube users on a meeting night on average, right? And then on that Thursday night, we have on the Facebook app or whatever, if there's a spike on a night when we have a meeting, right? Common sense would tell you that you can probably take those numbers and add them together to a certain degree, right? It's probably not incredibly accurate, but probably fairly accurate, right?
And could look at those numbers for you, but
I would like that, to be honest with you, and I would like to see what that number is. Because I agree with Jeannie on this, the transparent, the transparency you have in public access is a huge thing, Um, and I agree that it's not just channel 1085 that's important here and, and should be all of the above, all of the research that you did, as far as I'm concerned, should be looked at.
Yeah, and, if we could do this for free, we would do this for free.
Right.
It's our mission, it's what's important to us. We can't.
Right.
And it's hard for me to not have these meetings on.
I
I
understand.
have to tell you, I struggled with it.
I don't think it was a easy decision for us to make either, and I think some of these. So I think having some information, the notes that I've been taking here and Jeannie and whoever else, having some actual numbers to base a decision on, rather than a hypothetical, well, nobody says anything about watching cat TV on TV, right? When you go to the coffee shop or get in the grocery store, or nobody walks up to you and says, gee, I saw you on cat TV the other night, or whatever,
You'd be surprised.
No, right,
You'd be
right,
surprised.
right.
How many people watch municipal meetings, some people watch their parents just for fun.
These meetings, or these numbers here, the numbers that you've provided. A couple of them threw me for a loop, to be honest with you. So the one is the 1,300 on the meeting nights versus a non.
Right.
That would be interesting to.
That's that's a valid point, is what I was trying to say.
Right.
So I can look into.
That'd be great if you can get us that information for my own.
And I know what you're
Thank you.
thinking, I know you guys have
Right. Anybody have anything else? Well, I mean, you're here and it's an important thing, and
I appreciate you giving me that stuff.
Of course, yeah, but if you could get those numbers to us, that would be helpful.
you can just email them to Tara and she'll distribute them to us.
Yeah, we are, so, covered.
Thank you.
That's fine. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Hope you can get with this side.
Yeah.
And you're really.
Thank you. Okay. Approval of minutes. August 13th, select board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any discussion, corrections? All those in favor? Aye. August 13th, special select board meeting.
second,
Any corrections, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Warrants, accounts payable, August 21st, $25,445.43.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Accounts payable, August 28th, $44,005.79.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Payroll, August 21st, $13,445.23.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Payroll, August 28th, $12,270.77. Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, Main Street Bridge discussion and update. Thank you, Joel. Baby behind us.
Say it's. Everything seems smooth, slow. Yeah. So, like to, you all have the proposals for Max Million in Dayton. I think maximum to start with. Between the two. The 57,000. For doing. Holes. The holes on that one, and then, or no, yeah, they were the same price actually. The total for doing the pier. 66,900. And then doing the big holes for 57,231. Which amounted to 124,172. They're gonna bolt the plates down. Fix the pier.
Yeah.
And they actually came down. Where none of the other ones did and looked at it and took measurements and. Did some figuring and.
So before we get too much further, Joel, I want to say that we reached out to 3 different companies and
Yeah.
one company declined.
Whole river.
Declined to come down or they didn't have time or whatever, so. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we tried 3 different. Things. That we felt were qualified, or Joel tried 3 different companies that he felt were qualified to do the job.
Bridge. Another thing. Maximilian's gonna do this. There you go again, I'll get in trouble for saying that. In September is what they told me.
Yeah.
Daniels was November-ish. We said they may have to bring heaters down for the concrete stuff. I didn't care for Daniels wanted to close the bridge for 2 weeks to do it. And these guys are gonna try to do it a lane at a time. Bridge opening.
So can I ask a question about the estimates?
Yeah,
We had the 57 from May. In April, we had a 115. Are you thinking of taking anything out of that 115 estimate?
so, I think what I'd like to do with that. Is. When we get the major, excuse me, things fixed. I'd like to, we already kind of talked about it, there's another hole like coming right down through, I haven't fixed that. In any other bad spots. Up to a certain point. That we can, so not bankrupt. Because we kind of figured out 172 roughly in.
We
The one,
have 200 from the grant and then the 20 match, right? Okay, let's make sure we.
it's 90-10, I think, wasn't it? The structures,
Oh,
I'm not sure, I have to look.
Yeah, 20,000 we had to come up with,
yeah,
200,000.
we get 200 from them.
Okay.
So maybe being creative with the motion saying not to exceed the grant amount,
Yeah,
with whichever company. they try.
you can do that, sure. Yeah. I'd like to move forward with this and give them the go ahead. Because it is. We've been. A long time.
Yeah, I mean, as we should, I think. I mean, I know that we've talked about this several times. I've read the estimates, I've looked at it. I am impressed by the fact, and I should be impressed by it. I would think it would be normal that someone from Maximilian actually came down and looked at our bridge. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing to me how many times now, in different scenarios, people have made decisions about our bridge about coming down. So I appreciate that happened, and the fact that we have the funding for it, the fact that we talked about we need to start this sooner rather than later. The idea that they can keep one lane open, so we don't have to close the bridge down completely.
We will.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would definitely support moving forward. I think we need to, as we can see, I mean. People are very frustrated for a lot of reasons and very concerned. I can't imagine sitting on this any longer.
Nope, they're justifiably
Yeah.
concerned and frustrated for sure. And I know that our public comment, I don't think that this has been. I'm gonna disagree with her a little bit. I don't think we've procrastinated on this. you know, it may seem that on the surface, we've been, we've been around the bushes and the blocks and the flower gardens and the house and every building and whatever. We've been around it 100 times to try to make sure we're trying to do the right thing for the town and the residents on that side of the river.
And the condition, excuse me, has changed, you know, like from the 115 originally. That we didn't have any holes through it, and then, so, you know, now we're doing here. No, I mean, it's constantly been changing,
We can,
and it's calling up, trying to get people down there to look at it.
I think there's a couple things. Does anybody else have anything on this they want to talk about?
no, I just want to make a motion.
Oh, go ahead, Jamie.
No, I'm just not prepared to make a motion.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, you know what? I'll entertain the motion, then we'll open discussion after that. How's that?
Sure. I'll move that we go ahead and authorize our road crew to accept the Maximilian bid here that you provided us with, not to exceed the grant amount. And that we move forward with all due diligence and speed.
Do I have a second? Okay. Now, do I have any discussion?
Wonder. Doing any way of stealing. Between plates. Or. You know,
Probably,
blacktop over plates, so.
no,
But I know that was
Probably
only
not.
for.
yeah, just not to, add to the weight.
Right.
Much more. It was an idea at first, but now you're back down to 9 ton with it.
But I knew we were discussing some form of.
Yeah.
Protection.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember where that ended.
Questions. One, the metal plates, will they come up for the repairs?
Yes. We got,
Okay, will they go back down after the repairs? Or they won't need because we're gonna be doing the repairs?
yeah, we may not, put all of them back down.
Okay,
There's one especially at the, east side.
yeah,
That the hole wasn't through yet, but it was starting to, and it was going. Probably when we fix that one, we'll be good on that side. We can pull that one in, when we pull the plates for repairs, we'll look at it. And see
that's what I was just wondering, because then they wouldn't need to worry about bolting those down. So
Well, they
Would
figured
that-
that on 4 of them,
they're figuring on 4 of them.
Yeah.
And how many plates are there now?
5.
Okay. And go around, I'll figure out what my other question was.
Yeah.
Julie, did you have anything?
That's a tough question, yes. So my concern on this one, and I looked at the previous May one from Maximilian. My concern is with assuming. So if we're setting them out and they're saying that they're assuming that this is the area that they're going to, what happens if it's so much bigger of the area that they have to fix? Because in 2 of them, they just keep assuming. And then my other question was that.
Let's answer one at a time.
Okay,
So
like, you're assuming the beam is on this one, it's gonna be 2, I'm assuming that's 2 feet depth, 2 wide by 4. And then it says assuming beam with 36 by 160 by closing. I thought for that the bridge is 179, 180. Is it a beam going like,
long ways.
well, that's what I'm assuming long, but.
The length of the bridge.
So I didn't know because I thought the bridge was almost 180 feet, so I give or take, but that was my question, because it's 160 here, so it's assuming.
Well, I think the beams only go from pier to pier, right?
Okay, but
From
that's-
abutment to abutment.
Yeah.
Make certain assumptions, but then setting that limit of not to exceed.
Right, okay, that's,
That was my, because it's assuming it
So yeah,
or not to
are
assume.
those the only questions you had? Are you good?
Actually, yeah,
with, yeah, if we set it not to exceed 200,000, then if there is like some other little problems along the way, we can kind of fix them also.
Mhm.
You know, whole that needs doing, we all know.
The question was on the bid with, there would be those bids that I just saw here. And then the bid in April for the 10 spots that were going to be fit?
No.
Okay, that's not that one.
Because when that one, we first got it, there was no hole
Okay, that's
clear through it, we were just gonna. Add in. So now we're doing two big holes, actually that whole section, to the north. Where the hole is really rough, and pulled up the plate, really rough, so that whole section is gonna need to be done.
And this is a question from Muhammad.
Yep.
When they're doing the repairs, I know the answer, but I want to hear it from you. When they're doing the repairs, they're fixing the rebar in the concrete.
Yes.
Okay.
They,
So when I watch it with him tomorrow, he can hear it from you that we're fixing the rebar.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The rebar's gone in places.
Well, I understand that, but his concern was that we need to fix that rebar.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Any more discussion? I have a motion, I have a second to proceed with JH Maximilian to repair the bridge at an amount not to exceed the grant funding. $200,000. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. That phone call I am going to guarantee will be made tomorrow. Just because I know Joel wants this off his plate as much as he wanted off ours. Okay. Highway new hire discussion.
Okay, so, right. Yeah, everybody okay going with that?
Question I had, one question.
Yep.
On that. Is that $24 whether they have it would be the learner's permit or whatever,
The CDL.
the CDL.
All of it, you know,
Because we talked about we were gonna do training, and I didn't know, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
well, hopefully we get somebody with a CDL, but if we get a good guy that kind of does it, you know, we can go from there with it, yeah,
That was the only question.
in looking at, all the ads out there. Anybody's between 24 to low and 30 times. And most all of them have 100% insurance or close to it. They can't get it. They can't get it. Let's face the fact, you know,
Yes.
and I'd like to get somebody halfway decent, putting a $300,000 truck
Yeah,
and send them on his.
Not anybody behind the wheel.
Well, there's multiple things, right? You have to have somebody in the wintertime who's going to be dependable,
Yes.
right? That Joel can call at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning and they're gonna answer the phone and they're going to be able to get up and function and drive. Right? You have to have that person who can go out on storm damage in the middle of the night with a coworker that
Yeah.
they can depend on each other to be safe and do the right thing. And there's a lot of things it's not just haul a load of gravel, spread it out on the road
Oh.
and the person grade the gravel in or whatever, right?
I would add one thing to that, that dependability be not just in the winter, but all year round.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, storm, when I say storm damage, I'm talking about, we got some thunderstorms coming in tonight, supposedly, right? So, that, you have to have that person who can go out with the chainsaw, that's the kind of storm damage I was talking about, Carl.
And I was talking about just coming into work
On a daily
on a
basis,
daily basis.
working 5 days a week?
Yeah,
Our whole crew is you guys, so
Yeah.
no kidding around about, are good. They
right,
don't take a lot of vacation, they're always there.
yeah.
Always right there if you call. Getting somebody new is gonna be an experience.
Does anybody have any problem with that?
I have a few questions. So, because I know that there was interviews prior, so are those applicants able to reapply? For, I mean, so, or can we call them and just say that, we have another chance at this, because if they're gonna be able to train. So,
That's
And-
why either have,
okay. And then,
yeah,
my question, so if they're doing the rate of pay for the, I don't know, can I say it out loud, the $24?
yeah.
So if they're being paid that and they don't have their CDL, my only concern is, once they get the CDL, are they automatically bumped up to the rest of the crew? Or do they have to wait like the following budgeted amount? So, only because I don't,
We were gonna leave that for the time being. Is what I
Okay.
thought.
I guess my line of thinking on that, Julie, as this isn't a discussion I've had with anybody, right? My line of thinking on that is if you have an applicant that comes in and we hire a person and they're hired at $24 an hour, right? And then I would leave it up to the road foreman to come in 3 months into the person, like when somebody comes into me and I hire them as a bus driver. I know that we used to have a starting rate and
right,
we had a 60-day period.
Well, that's-
We have since done away with that, but I, as the manager,
Well, that
could
was-
say to my boss that after 2 weeks,
right.
look at this, and I'm just, right, this person's really good, let's just bump them right now to keep.
Well,
Right,
that's-
so I think that could be an open-ended.
Well, I understand that, like probationary period, but then on the other hand, and like I said, I worked for the town for 24 years, but to me, I would think that it would be, and I know that they wouldn't say anything, but it could be a slap in their face and I know that we have to try to get the people here. You need a responsible person. I completely understand that. But like,
We're paying them to slap in the face.
well, I know that, well, we all are slapping the. But I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm not against that. I just think maybe that he could check the probation because he might not be a dependable person and
Yeah, no,
I don't want the other guys to feel that, well, that's fine, right?
And that's the purpose of having a supervisor is making a
Right.
determination.
right.
Kind of agree a little bit with what she's saying. I've had this conversation with Joel anyways previous to this. Part of it is retaining our current staff and their happiness too. It's not just about getting someone new. So all things have to be considered, that's all.
Oh, absolutely, right, and retaining your current staff and
Right, well, that's,
unfortunately, retaining the current staff is being driven by, in my opinion, is being driven by another factor that's not even monetarily related, it's age. That's where we're at. And I think that we, as a board, need to your point, and your point, Tara, I think we need to revisit the pay scale, not just the amount, but how it's balanced out. So to your point, a new hire comes in and makes the same exact dollar per hour that the guy has been here, excuse me, for 22 years.
Right.
And I'm, I don't know the length of service, but, which is what you're saying.
Yes,
Exactly. I think we need to revisit that. I think that's something that we really need to look at because it is sort
well,
of,
that like budget and time.
Yeah, I think in the
Is
future,
that when we, yeah,
you're
100,
really gonna have to revisit that.
and I think we need to do it now.
As you get a younger crew
Mhm.
and, yeah, sure.
You know, and I think that's our job to revisit that. And because I agree with you, Tara, and you, Julie, on that whole thing, because it's not a fair, it's not an equitable pay scale that we have right now. And it's been that way forever. And just because I'm gonna go out on a limb here and I'm gonna say, just because it's been that way forever, doesn't mean it has to stay that way, okay? And it shouldn't stay that way. Exactly, Jamie. So,
And it does definitely start with budgeting.
yeah, that's why I was on.
Increase the wage line and increase all the other.
mhm,
Yeah, and I think if we weren't, I hate to say it, but on the low end of the scale already,
Hmm.
you know, it'd be easier to do.
Well, we provide better benefits than Williamstown and Bennington.
But you,
I'm just, I'm not arguing the point, I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
saying, okay, so that has to be taken in consideration. But I do agree this pay scale needs to get up, but we need to also take in consideration our benefit package.
but I'll go through and send you some of the ones I'm getting out of Vermont. I'm for 197.
I understand that.
Because they can't get any
I know that, and I'm just saying that
in the area, yeah.
in the area. So when we
the
compare
immediate
to,
area.
we compare to some of these other bigger towns, they're not providing the same. Yeah,
Bennington closed to,
Williamstown. Archer told me that.
but their wage line, they're up pretty good. They're up. Union to both of them. So,
Any more discussion on that? Are we good with the ad that needs to?
Yep.
Joel wrote up and.
Thank you. How long is it gonna run for? Like a couple of weeks? Can I,
yeah, probably until we fill a position,
right? Oh, I just,
but no, I
no, I know you need it before winter, but
I'd,
You gonna run that online at all, or just in?
Right. do it on Facebook and the town.
Yeah, for how long? We should have a deadline. 2 weeks.
Today's the 10th, or sorry, today's the 27th. Looking at having the deadline the week of the 7th or the week of the 14th, do you think? Week of the 14th, gives them a couple of weeks to be out there. And then it would give Tara and Joel, I would assume, are still gonna be the interview process. It would give looks like we have a meeting on the 10th and the 24th of September. It would give you 10 days to do an interview process and come back with a recommendation and vote on the 24th. Does that sound reasonable? Okay.
Hopefully.
So I would leave the application process open until 12 o'clock on the 14th. It's a Monday. 12 PM on the 14th. Just so I know where you're coming from, just so we have deadline dates. So 12 o'clock noon on September 14th is the application process, and then you could schedule interviews and have a recommendation on the 24th. Okay, snow removal.
So.
did we vote? Did we vote? I don't think we could.
Wait, did we?
Are we finished?
I don't think we need to vote.
I don't think we need to vote.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, you know, we get beat up on, there's,
So with the snow removal, It's been kind of an ongoing issue, trying to address the needs of the town office complex. Joel and I had talked about it. He said they can do it, but he doesn't know when. Being a municipal building, we have to make sure that we're plowed in the morning, shoveled. So I'm thinking, I mean, that's up to the board. The board said previously that the road should handle it, so does that mean like we should contract? Or what should we do?
Just thinking it may be easier to get somebody to plow and shovel it.
Instead of having
Sure.
two different, like,
More equitable for people to wanna do it than
Yeah.
just to hire somebody. Just be able to hire younger kids to.
Unless you put a video joystick stick on the freaking shovel, they're not gonna look at it.
It says PlayStation,
Yeah.
probably PlayStation 7 or whatever's out now, I don't even know, but
Hi.
I don't know. The 5 still out,
They'll
Julia, like-
play snow shoveling sim before they actually do it.
Yeah, right, so. What's your board's pleasure?
I
We contracted out?
feeling, taking, see the contract, we've done that in the past for snow removal,
okay.
sidewalk, salt.
You wanna do the same time frame?
How about I bring back, like an RFP, something we can put in for bids? But, do you have it in your budget to help us with snow removal here?
We'll talk.
Because we don't have a budget for snow removal, that's the only reason I'm putting it that way, unless we were to take it from ground maintenance, but that's. Basically just mowing at this time.
It all comes out of the same package either, look at it, have that one look at it.
Yeah, because you do have a contract line.
Can you have,
What's,
can we? So we'll put it in an RFP, it's a good point, Tara. I'll put an RFP out for that. Can you have Ellen give the board a couple of options on where the money can come from or should come from? Right, just so we can, rather than say, well, it should come from here or whatever, but give us a couple of options on where we could possibly take it from?
From road, or general, or both?
Both.
Okay,
Yeah, please.
okay. Yep,
Just so that we can make the right
okay,
move.
yep,
Yep,
and then we'll bring it back.
perfect.
And I'll have Joel help me with the RFP before I even bring it back, so that we.
Perfect.
So I think we're prepared to go ahead and put out the RFP. And not wait, we'll look at the budget. But I think.
Right, I don't think we need to wait for the budget numbers. We gotta pay for it. So one way or the other, it's just, right? So we gotta put out an RFP. So I'm comfortable, I don't know about the rest of the board. I'm comfortable with Joel and Tara sitting down and working together on creating an RFP to send out without the board, without having to come this back to another meeting on the 10th of September. And then wait again, and then have a snowstorm that came up that we didn't have anybody. I'm comfortable with, I will entertain a motion that Joel and Tara come up with an RFP for snow removal at the town office. And send that RFP out with whatever dates they deem fit.
We'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. I didn't want to put more work on you guys, but I'd rather get it done.
The less hands, the better.
Well,
Pretty easy, I'll put it out for a month. Give people time
you
to.
know, we can bring it back here the 10th and we're gonna do the same thing we just did. Cause the same people are doing the same job. Simple as that.
That it's easier,
Yeah.
we can plow through, so.
Yeah. Okay, updates from town officials. Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, Joel.
Forget to call Maxie in the morning.
Get the bridge.
Night, Joel.
I do have a couple of emails for. So our coordinator, sent an email, there was an E911 symbol review that's completed. She did site visits and emails to Vermont Route 7, Center Street, Montgomery Road, Thompson Pond Road, and Boudreaux Lane. Bit for Priscilla. From David Fowl, our planning commission chair. The planning commission is making significant progress, meeting process improvements, including earlier packets, improved clarity on agenda goals, improved minutes, and improved attendance on an understanding of member responsibilities. Supported significant accomplishments. There is now a clarity around how we will fulfill our responsibility, complete the new town plan, and in progress is continuous. Our goal is to complete the draft plan by late spring, allowing community engagement and full review and editing before the end of 2027, which is now the new deadline. This is an update from Nate on the Conservation Commission. This one's a little bit longer. This is for the spring and summer of 2026. The Conservation Commission has had another busy season, beginning with an incredibly successful silent auction hosted at the Faith Church this spring. More than 60 artists and artisans donated items which were auctioned to raise money for purchase and installation of bat houses in Pownell. We were able to purchase more than 24 bat houses, including a large unit which has been installed at the Hoosick Bent Trail. Private bat house installations have begun this summer and will extend into the fall season. Moving into the summer, we focused on some additional projects, including riverbank restoration at the Hoosick Bend Trail landslide, completing our town inventory map and posting it on the town website, hosting a native plant giveaway at the select board block party, coordinating a privately funded edible plants walk and with the hoorah at the library block party, working closely with the planning commission on drafting the natural resources section of the new town plan, purchasing, building, and installing a picnic table at Clayton Park. We also did some great work alongside Parks and Recreation on the town forest, including creating a paper map of existing trails in the town forest, completing the town forest interactive map with help from Tessa McGann, our town forester, and Sam Page from the BCRC, leading a very successful community hike in the town forest with Tessa McGann that was incredibly well attended thanks to promotional help from the Green Mountain Club. Gave presentation on our town forest at the ABCC Association of Vermont Conservation Commissions as part of their town forest story series of webinars. Looking forward, we are excited about spearheading and participating in a few additional projects this fall, which include looking into the possibility of enrolling our town forests in the family forest and forest carbon programs to generate additional funds for continued improvements to the amenities available in the town forest. Working on identifying grant opportunities to allow us to develop ADA accessible access point to the Hoosick River at Clayton Park. Working with the BCRC and the Planning Commission to implement and guide the scoping study grant that was awarded to Pownell, which will be focused on safety and accessibility improvements in Pownell Center. Finally, finding a community member interested in filling the vacancy on the Conservation Commission. After nearly 3 years as commission, we have assembled a really dynamic team of members who are passionate about their work, incredibly motivated, and excellent at driving projects forward. In between our monthly meetings, we are so proud to be able to continue doing the work that will help improve the lives of our neighbors here in Powell. Great.
They're busy. You're on it.
They
Seems
are
like they're
busy. They're very busy board.
Mhm.
Perfect, nothing else?
No other updates.
Okay, old business discussion and updates.
One that I can get out of the way really quickly that I put on the list because it's kind of new. As Nate mentioned, the scoping study, we received that grant agreement in BCRC. Well, we would like to use BCRC as the project manager for that. So we're hoping that Sam Page, that you all would appoint Sam Page as the municipal project manager for the scoping study. And then we're gonna set up regular meetings with her, Nate, Tom, and I, and then if there's a board member who would like to join us, that would be appreciated. But I just need a motion to have Sam Page be our project manager for the scoping study grant.
I guess. Go ahead, Jane. You want me to? I'll make a motion that we nominate Sam Page
Samantha Page. Yeah.
as project coordinator for our scoping study for the Pownell Center.
What is it called? Scoping grant?
Scoping grant.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Is that all you had under old business?
See, old business, Bob's gonna come to the next meeting, Clayton Park, and do we do anything with that?
The Clayton Park, well, I was checking out grant applications, but I learned I have to hold on one of the, we have to close out our grant first. But I've still been checking out other places, so I haven't heard back from that yet. So but I'm still working at it.
Okay.
Local option tax, does the board wanna discuss anything with that? I sent you the guidelines again. There are 3 types of taxes that we could, that you all could choose, to move forward with. So there's that decision that needs to be made, and there's also the decision of what it would go towards. But I'm not sure, does the board wanna do some public meetings before you sort of vote to move forward with that? Or what is the board's pleasure as far as that? And I'm still waiting for numbers too.
My thing is I don't wanna make anything until we see some numbers.
I do not have them yet.
I also think that we need a special meeting for that discussion. I mean, I think it's a big enough issue and important enough that we have.
Well, I think,
Meeting.
and I think we should, before we engage the public, I think the board needs to make a decision that that's what we want to do as a board.
Agree.
And then if we, as a board, after we get the more information that we're looking for right now, after we as a board, if we make a decision to move forward with the local option tax, then we engage the public. But if we're not gonna move forward as a board, why waste everybody's time?
Correct. What you're saying is, so that I got it straight in my head, that what you would wanna do is, first, let's do a vote if we're interested in doing
The board.
the tags. We're not talking about what flavor, but just, are we interested going forward, or at least investigating the.
And I think Jeannie's right. I think we need a special meeting on just the option tax so that we can sit here as a board and just discuss that.
I think that's even wider.
Yeah, so, and it could be, I haven't read on that in a while.
It's not, I don't think it's required to after you decide what kind of things.
Yes.
I think this board would prefer to do it before. we
Yes.
decide.
Right, so I think we need to have a meeting. We as a board decide yes or no. If it's a yes, then we engage the 100%.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're waiting on the numbers, and then we'll make a decision if we're gonna move forward or not.
And I also think
Well, I
that,
think as soon as we have the numbers, I apologize.
no, that's all
As
right.
soon as we have the numbers, then we can set a special meeting so we can discuss those numbers.
Well, the only thing that bothers me about waiting for numbers, and I would love to have them
Yeah.
before we even talk about it. But when are we gonna get them? Because,
Do we have any idea?
It shouldn't be long. I
Okay.
think it's,
And the numbers for the sales tax, it's the other two that we don't have numbers
Yeah.
for because of privacy issues.
yeah,
If it takes like, let's say if we don't have the numbers in 2 weeks, then maybe we go ahead with a special.
that's
meeting.
where I was going with you. Yeah,
Okay.
rather than wait, if we wait 2 weeks and we don't have numbers, when we come back at our next board meeting and we don't have numbers, I think we should set a date to have a special meeting anyways.
I agree.
And then decide if we're gonna move.
Then by that time, we should have numbers.
Hopefully. We've been dealing with the state on other stuff and
Dealing with the tax department, they've been pretty good.
the state's been really pretty good about everything, but everything takes time. And then, it just takes time. And I understand why it takes time. There's just limited staff. It's not that they don't want to supply things to us. There's just limited staff. So
Okay, let's see what happens in 2 weeks.
that sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Perfect.
would you want to discuss music hydro?
Yep, I was waiting for you to go down your list. I know you have a list there, so, yeah, I was waiting.
That's the last under old business, unless we're counting demolition permits under old business, which maybe that is too, so.
I just only had one question.
Okay.
For old.
So everybody's had a chance to have all of the information from the Hoosic River, from the Hoosic Hydro, sediment removal, right? So first, I'm going to give you what research I've done as the zoning administrator and what I'm going to do as the zoning administrator as far as a permit goes. And then I want to have the select board act on this as well, because the select board is a property owner in this, so I think it's a board decision. As a zoning administrator, I'm gonna follow the guidelines, the last set of guidelines that I got through that last email that we got forwarded last meeting. I'm going to issue the permit and based on, he's going to have to apply for a permit. Okay, we're not going to give him a random permit. He needs to apply. So I will email him and tell him he needs to apply for a permit. And I will help him get through that process. I've been researching that and there's other things on there. Okay. I'm going to follow Jess's recommendations, the second set that she gave us. I think that's the safest way to do it, that he has to have all of his state and federal permits in place before anything goes into the river. And that's what I'm going to do as the zoning administrator. Does anybody have any questions on that before I go any further?
That's the only administrator's prerogatives.
I know,
don't have any questions.
but I want to answer questions if you have it, because the town of Pownell is a stakeholder here for sure, and you guys are the town of Pownell.
Because a federal grant cleaned that site up and the state, as far as their sewer treatment plant, all that stuff. Feel that's the right course for that.
So now, as the select board, what are, and listening to Darcy tonight and whatever, what are your feelings as a board on how the board should proceed with this? Because I still believe it should have, even though the zoning administrator is going to approve a permit, and then it's gonna go to the state, and they're gonna work off that permit. And whether they approve or whatever after that, it sounds like, what's the select board's position on how we feel and what we should do? Should we put conditions and limits and other things on that as a board? I just want your opinions. Well, it's our decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, I have thought this for a little while. I would love for someone to attend a meeting. We've talked about this so many times at this point. I would love to be able to ask direct questions. I think that Darcy raised some important questions that I would just like to have answered. I don't consider that an adversarial process. But if this is so important, and I believe that they think it is, then I would like to be able to engage them and ask questions as a board member. And I do think it is reasonable to put conditions within the boundaries of law on this, but I may not feel that way if I could ask questions. And yes, I've read everything, but I also think there's a difference between reading reports and having a conversation with someone who represents a company.
I got one question.
Fair.
How would that pertain? He has a lease with us for that. In that lease, does it talk? My concern is, and I believe he's covered, is, Darcy talked about the sewer lines. Her biggest concern was the sewer lines.
The utilities, there's a water line that
There's
goes
the
there.
utilities. I believe, I may be wrong, that seeing that he is adequately insured would be one way to go through the process. But I was curious on what the lease stated in that, what he was allowed to do because it's in the lease. You know, and I haven't even looked through it completely. But I believe there was a section in there on. Oh,
Upkeep.
yes.
So
I just want to make sure that we're abiding by our lease, but also looking out for, you know, Darcy's interest.
I think if we follow declaration by FEMA. They all said and done,
Yeah.
as far as the depth that they can dig down. You know, just like you're not allowed to dig into the banks and all that. If you stay within the guidelines. And set points, that should cover us.
Correct, but that insurance.
I'd still like to know how that's,
Details.
right, and how that's going to happen, exactly, the point, the devil is in the details, where is it going? Like, I just, yeah.
Good.
I don't know, like I said, this is the first time I've seen the lease agreement and I didn't, it hasn't been recorded with the town of Pownell. So I am gonna record it because I had reached out by an email because I looked high and found everything else but the lease agreement. So I
So
will,
the lease agreement's never been recorded in the town office?
no,
There is a memorandum to the lease
all
agreement.
the, yeah, everything else has been.
Armin furnished it like immediately, so
Yeah.
she asked him for
I
it.
told him, you know, I asked because I didn't have it and I mean, I was looking for everything and I got like everything else on it, but so I reached out. So that we could read it, because like I said, I know it's a 30-year lease. And he gave me everything
I'm sure.
right there. So I mean, if we ask him to attend the Zoom meeting so we can, or in person, because I don't know where he lives, but
I don't think it's here, but.
if he can zoom in and maybe, you know, we could
That's
ask.
fine.
Even a representative.
Yeah,
You
that's
know
what I'm
what I
saying,
mean?
even a representative, that's fine.
Oh, I think, wasn't the hours different?
It is. It's-
Okay, that's right. Yes.
I want to say they're from like.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But a representative, surely there's someone local that could do that.
So a couple of red flags for me on the project. Okay, was one of them was jumping into the FEMA level of what the sediment can be. And how much is there now is definitely different than what they're saying they're gonna remove. Right, and I don't remember off the top of my head, I don't have it, but they're saying they're gonna remove a foot of sediment out of there. The FEMA from 2010 or whatever it was, I don't remember the dates, was significantly different. So which one are we doing? I think that's a huge point for us to know which one they're removing, the 1 foot or the back to 2010, 11, whatever it was. You know, I think that's a key.
If they've stated the 1 foot is ample for the operation of the dam, then I would state 1 foot.
Right, but if it wasn't, if they're gonna go to that FEMA number. And I think Darcy had a valid point of who's going to determine. And how do we determine where that's at? Is there an outside agency other than the contractor? That determines they've dug 5 feet and that's where they have to be, and that's fine. Who determines where that 5 feet is? Right, so I think she had a really valid point there. That's something I hadn't even thought of. I've been trying to give this a lot of thought. Because I think it's a big thing, and I don't want to deter him from doing it. I just want to make sure that it's done. And, well, I don't have a doubt that it's gonna be done properly. I just want to make sure that it's done so that it doesn't cause a problem for the town, the infrastructure, whether it's the bridge or the wastewater or the water line down the road. That's the only thing that concerns me is making sure that we don't, by not doing our due diligence, cause a problem down the road in the infrastructure, because infrastructure is incredibly important for all of us.
I also think that to her point about whether or not that material is contaminated and where that will be disposed of. I just don't know the answer to that, and I would like to know it.
And I think I think that's a great, I agree with that, except for, is that within, and this is a thought I had when she said it, is that in the scope of what we can or can't do? Are
I
we,
think that's a state, that's within the state.
can we say,
We can predicate approval or not on the permit, but I would like to know.
and I agree with you. I'd like to know too, because where's it gonna go? Is it gonna get dumped up on Carl's farm and?
Right.
You're 100% right, will it be disposed of properly?
And then are we gonna have a PFAS problem
Again,
More of a fee pass.
5 years down the road at that site, right? Because we're dealing with that all over. So I think those are valid points, right? So I think what we need to do is we need to reach out to Armin, ask him for a representative on September 10th. I will email him as the zoning administrator and let him know what he needs to do for the permit process. And then, because he has a 10-day wait on that, so I will get that process started. After the state approves his permit, he has a 10-day wait after Josh approves that permit.
A question.
I think he has a 15 day, Russ.
What's that?
I think he has a,
Yeah.
excuse me, not to interrupt, I think he has a 15-day, I misspoke.
Would it be better, and maybe that, like you had a couple questions, Mike, that we would send those questions in advance so that when he comes, we're not gonna pepper him with questions that they won't have. You know what I'm saying? We'll ask the questions and say, these are the questions that we're going to ask.
These are our
Concerns and questions that we're gonna ask at the meeting. So when you come, you are prepared for these questions.
I think that that's reasonable. The only thing I would say is like, I would not want it to be the case that someone says, we've answered the question, so there's no reason to be at the meeting, because here's the thing, a response to a question, I want them to be prepared, right? Because I want the information, they should have time to be prepared. I agree with you. But their answer to a question might then elicit a secondary question, which would be totally reasonable.
Correct, and
So I would
but
want
at
to be able
least
to
the
do that.
initial question,
Yeah, I'm good with that.
they would have, and I agree, the secondary questions, well, that would come on, but they would be prepared for the initial question about, okay, how deep are you gonna dig it and how is that going to affect the sewer line?
So here's, and I agree 100% both ways here. Okay, so I think a way to combat that is to say, here's a list of questions that the select board has. But we would request an in-person representative to answer secondary questions that may arise from the primary question. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
And,
But I would also
right,
want that.
you could email that, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, and I would also want him to. Yes,
Nobody-
I just want to
nobody
make
gets
sure
like-
we're not barred from also hearing the answers to our primary
Correct.
questions.
Right.
No, I want that, yes, but I just want to make sure that we're not just gonna bombard him with questions that he's gotta do a little bit of research on, and he won't be able to answer them at the meeting, and he'll say, well, I can't answer it this second, but I can answer it in the next day or two.
Right.
Completely agree with you.
Right, so I think there's really valid points both sides here on that.
I think we need to have a date by which we have questions to either Mike or Tara, whoever that should be. And that way those can be forwarded, like, well.
Well, I think this group of questions that we're talking about now is coming from the select board.
Mhm.
Right, my question is from the zoning administrator.
Exactly.
I've done enough research now where I'm comfortable
But those are your questions.
saying, right.
I'm
I've
happy
done
to
enough
send
that-
you a list of questions if you want to circulate it to the rest of the select board so we can make additions or edits.
Yep.
And then send a list of questions to him and I think we can certainly word that so that, we're giving you some preemptive questions, but there could be secondary questions, so we would like a representative here to answer.
Okay,
Julie?
can I be the brat because of our next meeting being the 10th. And they need to be able to have the permitting process in, isn't it, don't they only have till October 1st to be able to get into the
Well,
water?
So that's,
So are we gonna make a decision?
no, so here's what right, this is why I'm gonna start that permit process probably tomorrow or over the weekend. I'm gonna reach out to Armin. So the permit process,
Okay.
okay, will start as soon as he gets a permit back in to us. Okay, so then
At
he
least,
can, I'm pretty sure he can, so the zoning administrator will approve this permit based on what I've said through Justin, through the research that I've done. Okay?
Mhm.
That permit, Josh Carbajal needs that permit
Yeah.
to move forward with the state permit. And I know exactly what you're saying. And I'm trying to help move this process along. And that's a great.
because of the window.
No, that's right, because he has a window. So that's a great question. I think that if we had someone in here on the 10th of September,
With
the permit process will already be in place. I don't want to hold the permit process off,
I just wanna make,
right, until the select board says yes. So the select board, if we said no, the whole permit process is null and void. But I don't want to hold the process up if we were going to say yes. Does that make sense?
oh yeah.
Okay. I just want, sometimes I don't explain myself really accurately, but I don't want to hold it up any longer than need be. But I believe that on the 10th of September, if we had a representative here and all of our questions were answered
It would be.
sufficiently, the select board could
Just sign
vote
off.
to approve
Yep.
the dredging, and the permit process would already be in place. And there may be a 3, 4, 5 day window where they would have to wait for the permit
Yep.
days to expire, and then they could start their
Yep.
project.
I'll get this question too, by the way. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Does that
No,
seem reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that? I'm sorry. I think that's the best course of action. And I thank everyone for that opinion on that stuff. And the questions. I think it's pretty important. Anything else under old business, or are we good? Was that the only last one?
I have just one.
Julia, of
Because-
course. I'd be heartbroken if you didn't.
I know, it's because the emails we get. We have gotten several emails and I just have the group with the rescue squad, the regionalization.
Yep.
Do you guys 2 minutes, or is there any information that can be shared so that our residents of the town has, and because I've seen the several emails from residents. And you guys also, it's just that.
Well, there's been the one email.
Yep, and I know that the one has been,
I can share, well,
but I just, if there's a place where we can look at minutes or is
nah,
there notes or,
there's no,
okay,
Nick Zayak from BCRC is the facilitator for this group. The rest of us are just members of the group.
I just was wondering.
There's no other,
Just so people don't think we're hiding anything.
I certainly will,
Yes.
I'm not gonna get into the logistics of the proposals because,
I don't know.
well, honestly, 100% honest here and 100% transparent. The proposals that are on and the options that are on the table, our group has not definitively decided 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the number is, right? They've narrowed it down. And I have a meeting
Coming soon,
the 9th
yes.
because I almost missed a meeting because I thought it was the 9th and I misread an email. But anyways, I ended up making. So the process is going to be, there'll be informational meetings at the Bennington Select Board. Meet at a Bennington Select Board meeting. It'll be a meeting, informational meeting here. With all of the options, Shasberry and Woodford. Because those are the four participating towns in this group. So once we decide, which I believe the 9th is gonna be the decision, the deadline to have this all to have everything out there was October 1st. So we have the meeting on the 9th. Things will be, we should have everything finalized on the 9th at that point. And then, we have a, information, I can't remember what we called her, but anyways, she's a representative from Bennington Rescue from their board. She's the one that's gonna get some information out to the general public. Work on that.
Okay.
So right now, there's really, it's an ongoing process. I think that email was maybe a little bit demanding things that are things that would be shared with the general public when it's time.
Okay.
And at this time, it's not, and not that anybody's hiding anything, we just don't have, I can tell you everything that goes on at the meetings, but a lot of it is not pertinent to what is gonna happen and move forward, right? So, it is an ongoing process, so that email was kind of
I know, but
not an answerable email, really, it's like, thank you for your email, but at this time, there's, there's no information to share with the general public. And that's what it is.
I just want to make sure.
No, I understand, Julie. No, and I appreciate that.
I said I
Yeah. Hmm.
haven't responded because I'm getting braver, but. Not there yet.
Yeah, so,
Well, oh yeah, the demo. And I'm
so,
She's got one, you wanna do that?
on the demo,
Yeah.
but I just, yeah. So I gave you the guys the copy of what, because it is a state statute. So I handed you guys a copy of our previous demo permit that we have to do for the Vermont mobile home. So this, and it, I didn't take its name off, but, so this is the older one that we had. And we did, this is how it was written up, demo, right there. So it was meant for, like I said, for mobile homes, because it is a state statute. And it, I can, it's
Well, I think the-
19 or Title 9, but I just, so this is why we ended up coming up with the new one that I just wanted so that, like Darcy, so that we can all communicate, because we don't.
I think the one that Hannah sent us
Right,
10
that's,
days ago
Yeah.
was well put together, or whoever put it together.
I worked together on it, and so this is
I-
what we use for, like I said, when anybody wants to remove a mobile home, this is what they get now. And like, it would make our previous one with the state tax.
No, I understand.
And the $15.
Yeah, the $15 is a recording fee, and it's a state statute. That it's not just money that I want to make off the residents of the town. It's a recording fee that is statute.
I think
Because there's a lot of conversation out there.
I'm prepared right now to adopt the draft demo permit that was sent to us by Hannah 10 days ago or whatever it was.
Demo
Our 14th, I think.
Yes. I'm prepared to adopt that permit right now,
So
that
then
form.
I just have do we need a policy? Because I know we have policy.
I don't think it's a policy, Julie. I think that the select board adopts that demolition permit that has to be filed for any demolition within the town of Pownell. And it covers, that permit covered pretty much the application or permit covered every single thing that I couldn't come up with a scenario that wasn't on there. So I don't know if, I don't think it's a policy, so to speak, of the board. It's a requirement as a landowner in the town of Pownell or a property owner.
The extension of statute within the state.
I'm prepared to adopt that.
Make a motion that we adopt the demolition relocation permit as printed, presented to us
On August the 14th.
Yeah. And August 14th.
on August 14th.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? And that permit will, come with a $15 fee.
Yep.
All right? Perfect. I have a motion, I have a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Look at me.
So now guess what? The select board has and the town of Pownell has a demolition permit that's approved by the select board.
Look at me, Chair.
All right. Whoops, get on the right agenda. Nope. No new business. Any public comment, Hannah?
I got something. Yep. Well, no, I'm good.
I'm rubbing off.
This morning my mother had to go to the hospital because she had heart issues. And I'd like to deeply thank Pownell Rescue and their quick response at 4:30 in the morning, picking her up and the professionalism, and she just loved the both of them. And I just want to say here publicly, thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Carl. Any other public comment? No hands? Okay. Do we need an executive for legal?
Yeah, dude. Yep.
No, it's not very done.
Like a what?
You won't be long.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to, enter an executive for legal.
I move that we enter into executive session for legal.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive for legal.
Second.
Mike's on?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a motion, I have a second to come out of executive for legal. All those in favor? Aye.
Sorry.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, look at her.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh.